Well, g'day, and welcome back again to Yun Fu, and today we are in what is the equivalent of the tourist street that we have back in Jiaoqing. This here was all renovated, the buildings here are all renovated about the same time as it was happening in Jiaoqing. Back down behind us we have the bridge that we saw, I think, although I'm not sure how we're going to post all this stuff. I think that video should be the one directly before this one. We are just walking down here. We're actually going to, there's a Tao temple just down here. We're just going to have a quick walk past. Then we've got a street down to our left called Temple Street, which I guess is named because of the temple here. And we are on our way to a park which I have been to before, but we've got the drone with us. I want to get some aerial shots there. It's a really, really nice spot. And then after that, we are off to have a look at another temple that last time I was here was still under construction. I don't know whether it was an existing temple that's being renovated or whether it was a brand new temple. So this is the Tao temple here in Sing Sing. Really nice. I've done videos in there before. If I remember, I'll try and link them to you. Then over this side we have a town square. They often have Tao ceremonies in here. So they actually had one. When was that? That was about a year and a half ago, where they actually had some high-level members of government come in, and it was a temple sort of celebrating. The government were doing stuff to help the temple out. So it was sort of celebrating their collaboration. I'm not exactly sure what they were doing, but yeah, this here now is Temple Street. So this is pedestrians only. Really, really nice down here in the evening. Lots of people come down here having food. There's lots of restaurants and stuff down here, lots of little bars. Really, really pleasant atmosphere. It's I haven't got here in the evening this trip. We might actually try and get down here tonight, come down here for a feed and maybe do a video under lights. So yeah, we're on our way to have a look at this park and this temple, which are quite a walk away. It's going to take me at least, I think, an hour in this heat to get to the park, which is our first stop, and then it's probably going to take us another 45 minutes at least to get to the what's the word I'm looking for? To the temple. So here, Jiaifeng Road. We've got informations here, but I've done a video about this place as well, so I'll try and link that in the description as well and give to you. But as we were walking, I thought we might have a little talk about a subject that came up that I've not actually researched before, but we got on to DeepSeek and asked the question. Just looking at my weather map here, telling us it's 34 degrees at the moment. Feels like 39. There is no wind at all. It is a properly hot day. We're going to sort of be zigzagging our way through these streets. So the main road up the back to the right that we want to reach, but I'm not exactly sure how to get there, but I do know the general direction we're heading in, so we'll zigzag our way through and get there. But we did a video, I don't even know, by the time I get this one up, I don't even know how long ago we did that video, but it was about my experiences with shopping here in China, and I happened to mention that that measurements can be a bit different here. You know, they measure things in half kilograms and stuff. So I decided to jump up onto DeepSeek and ask about sort of traditional Chinese measuring systems. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to go through that a bit because it is quite an interesting subject. And as we come across things that are still in use in China, maybe not in regular use, but they are in use in different places, I'll sort of tell you about what they are and how they affect things and stuff. So the question I asked was, what were different units of measurements in China before European influence? And the answer came back. So before European influence, China had its own sophisticated system of measurements which evolved over millennia. These traditional units were used for length, area, volume, weight and currency. Here's an overview of the key traditional Chinese units of measurement. Right, so first up is length, or chengdu. Let's just get across this road, make sure we're safely getting across here before we continue. So, chengdu, or length. Chinese length measurements were based on the human body and natural references. The most fundamental unit was the Chi, C-H-I, which varied by dynasty. So, yeah, based on the human body and natural things, that's very much like the old imperial thing. I think the original inch was based on, if I remember rightly, a wheat kernel, wheat grain, but I could be wrong about that. It might be barley, I'm not sure. But yeah, again, based on very imprecise but natural measurements. So the different types of qi. The Shang dynasty, one qi equaled 16.95 centimeters. During the Han dynasty, that equaled 23.1 centimeters. The Tang dynasty, 30 centimeters. And the Qing dynasty, 32 centimeters. So that's starting 1600 BCE with the Shang dynasty, right through until 1912, the end of the Qing dynasty. Common length units were 1 fen, which is 1/10 of a kun. 1 kun, which is 1/10 of a qi. Okay, so a kun, roughly 3.2 centimeters, so sort of equivalent to an inch, and 1 fen, which is 1/10 of that, is sort of the equivalent to the millimeter, I guess. 1 qi, which is the 32 centimeters in the Qing dynasty. 1 bu. A bu is 5 qi, or 1.6 meters, roughly, although again, depending on the dynasty you're involved in. And then 1 zhong, Z-H-A-N-G, is 10 qi, 3.2 meters, and 1 li is 360 bu, or 576 meters, which is the traditional Chinese mile, much shorter than the European mile. So, yeah, a lot of different measurements there. Measurements, I think, are generally all in metric now. Although, no, they're not, because when you're looking at, say, an electric bike, I have seen electric bikes with the half kilometer measurement, which I think, actually we'll come up to that later. about how they're used today, because I did ask another follow-up question. Okay, so we're moving into area now. So land measurement was crucial for agriculture and taxation. So here we have 1 fen, which is a small unit often used for fields. Doesn't give us a size. Fields, you know, generally rice fields and stuff, they're not what we would consider big by Australian standards. Next we have 1 mu, M-U. Qing Dynasty, that measurement was 614.4 meters squared. The modern mu is 666.67. And then we have 1 Qing, which is 100 mu, 6.14 hectares. Left or right here? We're gonna go, okay, we're gonna cross the road here. We're gonna go up to the right. Yeah, I'm not sure that the old measurements are in use at all anymore here in China. It's not a measurement that I've ever had any need to use, so I haven't come across it. It may well be in use in places, especially maybe when you get out into agricultural areas with the small farms and stuff around the place. There's every chance it is still in use, but I'm not sure. Volume. So, used for grains, liquids and dry goods. So we have 1 shao, which is a small spoonful. Doesn't tell us how small that spoonful is, just that it's a small spoonful. 1 he, H-E, 10 shao. 1 sheng is 10 he, which, okay, we're starting to get up to equivalent to modern measurements now. So 1 sheng is the equivalent to 1.035 litres during the Qing Dynasty. 1 dao, which is the equivalent of 1 sheng, is 10 sheng. Is the equivalent to 10 sheng, or 10.35 litres. 1 hu is the equivalent of 10 dao, 103.5 litres. And 1 dan is 10 du, or also pronounced shi, equals 10 dao. So it's the same 103.5 litres as the dan, but it is used for graining taxes as opposed to measuring liquids. Yeah, okay, so that's a different thing, but still the same sort of basic size. But I guess grain, maybe it's lighter than, you know, a tub full of 10 dan is maybe lighter than a tub full of 10 hu of water. I'm not sure. Okay, our next one is weights. So used for trade, medicine and metals. Let's just cross over the road here, because I think we're going to get a bit more shade on this side, and it is too hot to be walking in the sun. So first up we have 1 fen, which is a small unit for medicine and silver. Doesn't actually tell us how big that is, but the next one will give us the answer. 1 qian, which is 10 fen, or 3.73 grams during the Qing Dynasty. So 1 fen, approximately 0.373 grams. 1 liang, which is 10 qian, 37.5 grams. 1 jin, oh, so we're switching off from the decimal system here. 1 jin is 16 liang, or 596.8 grams. modern gin equals 500 grams, half a kilogram exactly. That is one that you will find in use in various, especially markets around the place. Also supermarkets, which I think they would use that because a lot of people don't want a whole kilogram of, say, meat. They, you know, half kilogram sort of weight is much more commonly used, I would think. So yeah, it just makes it easier. They measure things by how much people buy, I guess. And then we have 1 Dan, which is 100 gin, equals 59.68 kilograms. And then we have nothing bigger than that. We don't go up to tons or anything. I imagine back in those days, it was very, very difficult to lift and then measure anything weighing a ton. So you have to sort of keep your measurements with what you can actually measure. Currency. Before modern coins, China used the following. 1 wen, which was the smallest copper coin. 1 guan, which was equal to 1,000 wen, and that was strung coins, which is why a lot of the old coins that you see in China all have holes in the middle, generally square holes. And then 1 liang, or teal, which is a silver weight, 37.3 grams, used as currency. So liang, go back to weight. Okay, so liang was also a weight, 37.3 grams. Okay, so 37.3 grams of silver. Doesn't tell us what that is equal to in comparison to the 1 wen and 1 guan. Okay, and our final sort of thing is time. Traditional Chinese timekeeping. We have 1 shi, which is 2 modern hours, divided a day into 12 shi, and 1 ke, or K-E, but it's got a symbol over the E. 1/8 of a shi, or 15 minutes. Nothing smaller than that by the look of it. Minutes and seconds, not so much. Right, so from there we look at standardization and variations. Different dynasties redefined units leading to variations. The Qing dynasty used the Yingzhou Qi for construction, which is 32 centimeters. Okay, car's going away. We'll be all good here. Local variations existed, leading to slight differences in market measurements. Transition to the metric system. After the Xinhai Revolution, 1911-1912, China gradually adopted the metric system through traditional units persisted in markets until the mid-20th century. Today, some units like jin and mu are still used colloquially, but are now standardized to metric equivalents. As we thought with the gin, it's gone from being, I think it's 576 grams to 500, no, gin was the distance, 576 meters to a straight 500 meters. Still used colloquially, but are now standard, okay. So I followed that up with the question, what are the measurement units still in use today that differ from Western standards? So even though China officially adopted the metric system, several traditional units remain in everyday use, particularly in markets, cooking and informal contexts. These units often can cause confusion for outsiders, yes. Here are the most common ones still in use today. So we have the jin, or we've got in inverted commas, catty. Maybe that's a nickname for it, I'm not sure. Across the road here. So modern standard, 500 grams since 1959. Traditional value 596.8 grams. Usage commonly used in wet markets for meat, vegetables and fruits. Comparison, 1 gin equals 0.5 of a kilogram or 5. Okay, and then they're talking about the British American pound. We won't go there. Okay, another one in common usage. The liang, modern standard, 50 grams. 10 liang equals 1 gin. Traditional value, 37.3 grams, depending on the era. Usage, used for precious metals, gold, silver, and sometimes in cooking. Right, area. So the mu is still in usage, which was the 666.67 meters squared, or 1/15 of a hectare. Traditional value was 614 meters squared. Still used in agriculture and land measurement, especially in rural areas. 1 mu equals 0.165 acres. And the final one still in use is length. So the Chinese mile, standard 500 meters, officially adjusted to metric. Traditional value was 576 meters. Usage still appears in road signs and colloquial expressions. For example, okay, no, I'm not sure about their example. That's a little bit confusing. All right, well, we don't have a red light I can see here. We're going to cross over here. Volume. Okay, so we won't go through the volume. You know that we've been through what they are, but we have then informal and regional units. So we have the wan or bowl, used in cooking for rice or soup, no fixed standard, roughly 200 to 300 milliliters. We also have the kun or the inch. In electronics, inches are sometimes called yin kun, but traditional kun is used in Chinese medicine and woodworking. Why are the units still used? Cultural habit, deeply ingrained in daily life, especially among older generations. Market convenience, easier to visualize. 1 gin of pork is more intuitive than 500 grams. And traditional industries, medicine, tailoring, agriculture, still rely on them. And then the conclusion, yeah, so measuring things in China, if you don't sort of know the system, you can get here. And, you know, things like buying food in markets and stuff, you can look at a price which is priced at, you know, so many RMB per 500 grams and not realize it's not per kilogram, which is something that happened to me when I first got here. I went, geez, that kilogram looks really, really small. I think I'm being ripped off here. And then I had sort of it explained that, I know these are half kilograms. And then it made more sense. But yeah, you do have to be aware of exactly what people are talking about when they give you measurements. Most people that I've met generally talk in, you know, standard metric units, unless you're in one of those places buying food in a market and supermarkets. I think most fruit and vegetables in the supermarket I go to is in kilograms, price per kilograms, but they do still have meat marketed at half kilogram per price. So yeah, they did have their own system. Some of it is still in use. I thought it was an interesting comment. Yeah, when we when we did that previous video, someone did comment about it, and he sort of mentioned a couple of things, and I thought this is worth digging deeper into. How much interest it is for you if you're not in China, I don't know, but being here, yeah, knowing this sort of stuff is a big help. So yeah, we're going to finish off there. We're going to be back with another video once we get down to this park and this temple down the road, but I don't know how long that's going to be. But that'll be the next video. We're not going to carry on with this one because I don't know, most of my videos that we've done out at Yuen Phu this time have been fairly short and sweet, so we're going to try and keep it that way. But for now, thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that like button, share with friends, subscribe to the channel. Any questions or comments about this stuff? I relied on DeepSeek to get my information. If you know the system better than me and I got anything wrong or whatever, let us know. If there's things that were missed out on, let us know. And as always, if there's anything you would like to learn about life here in China, in Guangdong, especially back home in Jiaqing, again, hit us up down there in the comments. I just had a thought too, you know, it's not just people who live outside of China wanting to know about life here. If you're Chinese and you're curious about what life is like for a foreigner here, ask the questions as well. Yeah, that's always an interesting discussion. And finally, Facebook, a Scott in China on Facebook. Come join the group. I would love to see you there. But for now, we're going to keep walking. It's getting hotter and hotter. So yeah, stay safe, everybody. We will see you once we reach the park. Take care and cheers.